Hey everyone, I'm Laura from the Choosing Content podcast, where I chat weekly about topics close to my heart: being content, living intentionally, and choosing joy. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. Today, I'd like to talk from my heart about wrapping up your summer intentionally. It is the last half of July. Congratulations, we have made it through most of the heat of the summer. Summer is beginning to show signs of twilight. Hobby Lobby has informed us that we should have a fall decorating plan and that Christmas is about 150 days away. If you have family members of a certain age, you are hitting the entire subseason called Back to School, which is about to consume your home in its entirety. This was supposed to be encouraging because it is. You have a couple of weeks left to make the summer special. There are still a few days left to eat tacos on the patio or PBJs at the park, hit the community pool one last time, and make sure you appreciate that the traffic isn't totally crazy before the back to school normal. Although from what I'm hearing in Houston, it is cuckoo cuckoo out there with the road rage, guys. Be careful. However, what are a few things we can do to autopilot to ensure that our summer has a great closeout? For the McCoy family, we've made a few adjustments. We have made eating Bluebell as a family snack one of our things. Our new favorite is Happy Tracks, which is vanilla ice cream with chocolate fudge and mini peanut butter cups. It's divine, and I don't even like peanut butter. We're from Texas, in case you couldn't tell. Dollar Dog Night, not kidding, every Tuesday for the month of July has been our Dollar Dog Night at our house. This started because the Astros have dollar hot dogs every Tuesday night that they play at home, and so we have hot dogs and watch baseball, and even our 2-year-old knows because every Tuesday afternoon she brings out her Carlos Correa bobblehead to the living room, and he stays there for the entirety of the game. For us, we make sure the bubbles are on tap and the water hose is always ready for play. I have other friends and family members. Some of them, they make sure they take one last weekend trip. They go for walks together. They make sure to have everyone's favorite meal one week. There are a lot of things you can do to make the end of your summer happy and make you feel like you finished strong. The other fantastic news is that the last few weeks of summer give you a moment to reflect on what's important. Moving forward into the next season, be it the back to school season or the fall season, you have predetermined what is an elevated priority. Here's a few examples of what I'm getting at. Family night. My husband and I would like to prioritize family night, meaning that once a month we want to have our extended family over for dinner and games. I'm going to autopilot this for a monthly event. I'm probably going to do tacos and make sure that I have a handful of family favorites for games. We're just going to put that on the calendar. We would say Sunday nights, but that doesn't work. So realistically, it's probably going to be every Saturday night. And if people can make it, great. And if they can't, maybe we'll catch them on a next season. The other thing that we prioritize is getting back to church. We attend regularly. However, our anniversary falls at the end of July. And it can be a little tricky because we usually take another small trip or two in July, August. So if we are not intentional about coming back from our trip and making it to service on the next one, it's too easy to wait. So now is the time. If you've missed a couple of Sundays because you've been out of town or you've had family things going, just hop back in. Don't beat yourself over it. Just hop back in. We will not intentionally wait for it to be a better time because better times never come. It is pointless to wait until a better time when you've already decided it's going to be a priority. Just do it. The next thing that we have prioritized for our fall season is eating healthier meals. We have been prioritizing healthier lunches and dinners, and honestly, I took a week for each meal of the day and overhauled what we ate for breakfast, and then a week for lunch, and then a week for dinner, and then a week for snacks. It took me almost the entire month of July to straighten us out with some variety and newer ideas. This means as we move into the fall, it will be much easier to make healthier choices because the effort was already made. So this week, I am encouraging you to pick a thing or two that needs to be elevated in priority and begin to practice this now. Purpose in your heart that something is important and act like it is as the summer closes out. I completely recognize that seasons is a loose term and will mean different things to different people. For some of us, football season starts a shift in our homes. For others, it's the busy season at work. For others, it's being able to actually go for a run outside without thinking about heat exhaustion. Those might all be seasonal markers, and all of these answers are okay. But what are the things that you are going to autopilot to make this next season strong moving forward as we close off this summer with a bang? Today, as we talked about putting some things on autopilot, I wanted to take a moment and to encourage you to make your list of priorities and hunt for the things to set on autopilot, that we make Christ a priority. In Joshua 24, it shares Joshua appealing to the tribes of Israel after giving them a brief history of what they had and hadn't done in serving their Jehovah. He then talked about choosing to serve the Lord in earnest. He then admonishes them that if they weren't going to serve the Lord, then a choice had to be made as to who or what they would serve. He then boldly declared, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." As a child, I always thought it was kind of crazy that Israel could have gotten so far as to need this type of a wake-up call. I mean, they obviously weren't so far gone that they didn't know the way. They just needed to make better choices on the daily. Have y'all ever noticed that? It's sometimes not that we have gone too far. It's just that we need to make sure that we're doing the right things. I think that can be a whole sermon in and of itself. Whew. But they had not gone so far, they didn't know the right way. And then I realized it wasn't necessarily about them. It wasn't that they were making a choice for them. It was that they were making a choice for their house. They were consciously making a choice for the future generation of Israel. If they did not choose, the next generation would be affected. And I just want to let that sit in for a moment, sink in. If we are not choosing to actively show that we are serving Christ to our families, if we are not choosing to either worship or study or whatever it is that you do regularly, maybe we need to step it up. Maybe we do attend regularly, but we need help in devotion or prayer. Maybe we just need to make sure that we're serving our local assembly well. These are the areas that you can act now so that you can have the decision already made for the upcoming season. We don't want to wait until September or October to make a change, when those are some things that we can put on autopilot and say, today, right now, let's start working toward this. What can we do today to remedy this? As we prioritize, what are we leaving our children with? What are we leaving our family members with? Last week, I had gotten our daughter ready for church, and my husband followed behind me with her shoes. He was kneeling down and said, "Angel, let's get on your shoes. We have to go to church." And he stopped. He said, "No, baby, we get to go to church today." We are intentionally clearing time or autopiloting Sunday mornings so we don't have to backtrack when she's 7 or 14 or 22. And I respectfully suggest autopiloting a time for your relationship with God. The word autopilot is not meant to be disrespectful here. I am suggesting to have in your heart and in your mind a decision already made. Determine that Sunday mornings, or whatever time you choose, is in fact already blocked out and it is available. Your schedule is cleared. We should not have to spend every week trying to carve out time on a Sunday morning to make it to commune with God. We just shouldn't have to. That time should be available to cultivate that relationship. The same can be said of a daily prayer time, of a daily Bible study time. we must be intentional about this choice to make it easier for the next season. So many times we say, oh, in a few weeks and in a few months, or next school year it will be better. And I'm here to tell you that sometimes the seasons of life change faster than we think they will, and sometimes they are much slower than we could have ever imagined. Today is the day that you can choose. Today is the day to change your priorities if they need to be changed. Today is the day to make your summer closeout fantastic if you need to. I am here to root you on and encourage you and to say, hey, let's make life the fullest we possibly can right now. If it takes a few minutes to autopilot, to clear it out, let's do it. It's going to be worth it. Again, this is Laura from the Choosing Content podcast. I hope to meet you back here next week. Now, let's go find the good today.